Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to my channel. Hello, fellow enthusiasts. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of Battle of Nasiriyah. The Battle of Nasiriyah was fought between the U.S. 2nd Marine Expeditionary Brigade and Iraqi forces from 23 March to April 2003 during the U.S.-led invasion of Iraq. On the night of March, the bulk of the Marines of Regimental Combat Team 1 passed through the city over the bridges and attacked north towards Baghdad. However, fighting continued in the city until 1 April when Iraqi resistance in the city was defeated. Now, let's delve into the intricacies of Prelude and explore its various aspects. Nasiriyah is a city which lies along the banks of the Euphrates River in Dakar province, about 225 miles southeast of Baghdad. Its population is made up almost entirely of Shia Muslims. On the morning of 23 March, a U.S. Army supply convoy from the 507th Maintenance Company had mistakenly veered off Highway 8 and then turned toward the city into enemy-held territory. The U.S. vehicles ran into an ambush, drawing enemy fire from every direction. 11 American soldiers were killed and several were taken prisoner. However, a few soldiers managed to escape the ambush and form a screen around their wounded. They were soon rescued by a company from the 2nd Marine Expeditionary Brigade Task Force Tarawa under the command of Major William Peoples. The original plan was for Task Force Tarawa to take and hold the two bridges inside Nasiriyah, creating a corridor for the RUCT and 6th Engineer Support Battalion from Battle Creek, MI to pass north through the city along Route 7. Nasiriyah was the headquarters of the Iraqi Army's 3rd Corps, composed of the 11th Infantry Division ID, 51st Mechanized Infantry Division, and 6th Armored Divisional at around 50% strength. The 51st operated in the south covering the oil fields, and the 6th was north near Al-Amar, which left 3 brigade-sized elements of the 11th ID to guard the Nasiriyah area. The time has come to unravel the secrets behind U.S. Army convoy ambushed and gain a deeper understanding. At around 6 on the morning of 23 March, an 18-vehicle convoy of 31 soldiers of the United States Army's 507th Maintenance Company and 2 soldiers of the 3rd Forward Support Battalion of the 3rd Infantry Division missed a turn onto Highway 8 and mistakenly continued along Highway 7 into the city. The convoy was led by Captain Troy King, a supply officer with little combat training. Iraqi technical vehicles began shadowing the convoy as it passed an Iraqi checkpoint near the Euphrates River. After passing the ALC's headquarters on the northern outskirts of the city, King realized that he was lost and the convoy began turning around to retrace its steps through the city. As the convoy turned left onto Highway 16, at about 7 it began to receive sporadic small arms fire, the source and direction of which could not be determined. The ambush was unlikely to have been set up in advance, because the Iraqis did not know which course the convoy would take. In the resulting chaos, the 507th became divided into 3 smaller groups as it attempted to move south, out of Nasiriyah. The first element of the convoy, known in the official U.S. Army report as Group 1, made it through unscathed, and continued south to meet up with the Marines. Group 2 also made it through the kill zone, although their vehicles were badly damaged and had to be abandoned. Group 3 encountered road barriers and was defeated. At least 15 of the 18 American transport vehicles in the convoy, ranging from Humvees to heavy expanded mobility tactical trucks HEMTs, were destroyed by small arms fire, mortar rounds, and tank gunfire. Some of them swerved off the road or crashed while attempting to avoid incoming Iraqi fire. One truck was crushed by the traversing 105-gun barrel of a Type 69 QM tank. At 7:30, King's 3 remaining vehicles made contact with the tanks of Major Bill Peoples' Alpha Company, 8th Tank Battalion on Highway 7, about 10 kilometers south of Nasiriyah. On their approach to the city, one of Peoples' tankers noticed American vehicles in the road ahead. Peoples ordered his tanks forward to rescue as many soldiers as possible. They rolled up on 10 survivors from Group 2, which had also managed to escape the ambush, and set up a hasty perimeter about 5 kilometers south of the city. In total, 11 soldiers from the 507th had been killed, while 6 others were captured, including Private First Class Jessica Lynch, Specialist Shoshana Johnson, and Private First Class Laurie Pistua. Pistua died of her wounds soon afterward. After a delay, the Marines of 1st Battalion, 2nd Marines, part of 2nd Marine Expeditionary Brigade, attacked Nasiriyah from the south, using amphibious assault vehicles, ABs, and Cobra gunships. During this action, the Marines captured 2 bridges spanning the Euphrates River that were defended by Fedayeen and Ba'ath Party guerrilla soldiers. In heavy fighting, several Iraqi platoon-sized units, 2 Su-23 4-Shilka anti-aircraft weapons, and several mortar and artillery positions were destroyed by a combined force of Abrams tanks, Cobra helicopter gunships, and the artillery of 1st Battalion, 10th Marines. With the groundwork laid, let's now examine Ambush Alley and its connections to our previous discussions. The bloodiest day of the operations for the Marines was 23 March, when 18 men of Charlie Company, 1st Battalion, 2nd Marines, were killed and 8 amphibious assault vehicles were disabled in heavy fighting with Iraqi forces around the Saddam Canal. The Marines were engaged by mortar and artillery fire, as well as 4 Iraqi tanks hidden behind a building. A friendly fire incident occurred when tours from the Pennsylvania Air National Guard strafed the amphibious assault vehicles of Charlie Company by mistake, killing at least 1 Marine, and possibly as many as 17 Marines, over the course of multiple passes. Their 10 strike was cleared by the battalion's forward air controller, who was with Bravo Company, bogged down on the eastern outskirts of the city. He did not have contact with Charlie Company and was unaware that Marines were so far north. An investigation into the friendly fire episode confirmed that friendly fire was to blame, but like most friendly fire investigations, it was done with no enthusiasm for determining what really happened or who should be held accountable. Videotapes from the 10 planes went missing. Despite the clear findings, the U.S. Central Command issued a press release which both minimized certainty and the role of friendly fire. 2 other Marines, from the 6th Engineer Support Battalion, Corporal Evans James and Sergeant Bradley South, Corthus, drowned while trying to cross the Saddam Canal under fire the following day. Sergeant Michael East, Bitts, from the Marine Air Control Group 28, died from hostile fire while tending to wounded Marines. Without wasting any more time, let's jump into the fascinating world of RCT-1 pushes through Ambush Alley. The advance of Regimental Combat Team 1 RCT-1 through Nasiriyah was delayed by fighting there. On the evening of 24 March, labs of the 2nd Light Armored Reconnaissance Battalion 2nd LAR, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Eddie Ray, pushed north of the Saddam Canal, leading RCT-1 through Ambush Alley. Meanwhile, the 3rd Battalion, 1st Marines, the Thundering 3rd, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Louis Crapata, held open Ambush Alley as the rest of RCT-1 passed through Nasiriyah on the night of March. Partly as a result of RCT's delay, Colonel Joe Dowdy was later relieved of command of RCT-1. Get ready for an exciting exploration as we unravel the mysteries of Aftermath. By 27 March, most Iraqi resistance in the city had been subdued and the focus of the battle shifted from full combat to cordon and search operations. Small groups of Fedayeen Saddam militia were hiding throughout the city and launched sporadic attacks on Marine patrols with small arms and rocks. These attacks were uncoordinated and the resulting firefights were lopsided, with large numbers of militiamen killed. On the morning of 27 March, 2 Recon Marines found a sunken tank at the bottom of the river. The tank had been missing since the night of March. It had apparently plunged into the river when it drove through a gap where a sidewalk was under construction, causing the exposed reinforcing bar to crumble under the weight. The entire 4-man crew died. Navy Seabee divers from Underwater Construction Team TWO, part of Task Force MIKE along with Marines from 1st Tank Battalion, spent 2 days retrieving the flooded tank and the bodies of the 4 crewmen that were found inside. According to a captain in the Republican Guard, morale among Republican Guard units was bolstered by the resistance offered by the regular Army's 45th Brigade in the city. Iraqi casualties were dead. More than 300 were wounded and 1,000 captured. US losses were 32 dead, 60 wounded, and 6 captured. Brace yourselves for the next chapter, where we'll be dissecting Private First Class Jessica Lynch. Initial reporting of the battle emphasized the supposed heroism of Private First Class Jessica Lynch. On 3 April, the Washington Post ran a front-page story which read, "Lynch, a 19-year-old supply clerk, continued firing at the Iraqis even after she sustained multiple gunshot wounds and watched several other soldiers in her unit die around her." The Post quoted an unnamed official who said she was fighting to the death. She did not want to be taken alive. This description soon was questioned. On 4 April, the Associated Press ran a story which stated that Lynch's father had heard from the doctors attending her, who said that she had not been shot or stabbed during her ordeal. On 15 April, the Post ran a story questioning the accuracy of its own account from 3 April, saying Lynch's story is far more complex and different than those initial reports. She was neither shot nor stabbed. On 24 April, Private Lynch testified before Congress. She called the earlier reports a lie and said that she had in fact never fired her weapon because she was knocked unconscious when her vehicle crashed. John Krakauer concludes that most of the details of Lynch's ordeal were extravagantly embellished, and much of the rest was invented from whole cloth and fed to gullible reporters by anonymous military sources. Krakauer concludes that Jim Wilkinson was likely part of a White House-led effort to fabricate Lynch's story. Moving ahead, let's uncover the hidden gems within U.S. military and discover their significance. 2nd Marine Expeditionary Brigade. Regimental Combat Team 2. 1st Battalion, 2nd Marines. 2nd Battalion, 2nd Marines. 3rd Battalion, 2nd Marines. 2nd Battalion, 8th Marines. 1st Battalion, 10th Marines, 1st Marine Division. Regimental Combat Team 1. 3rd Battalion, 1st Marines. 1st Battalion, 4th Marines. 2nd Battalion, 23rd Marines. 2nd Light Armored Reconnaissance Battalion. Moving forward, we'll be taking a closer look at British Army. G Parachute Battery, 7th Parachute Regiment RHA. With the groundwork laid, let's now examine both Iraqi forces and its connections to our previous discussions. Iraqi Army 11th Division, 23rd Brigade, 45th Brigade, 47th Brigade, 21st Tank Regiment Element Unidentified Commando Battalion Thane Saddam Paramilitary Forces Army. Let's now venture into the realm of popular culture and explore the fascinating intricacies it holds. The Battle of Nasiriyah is featured in the 2008 HBO miniseries Generation Kill, in Episode 2, The Cradle of Civilization. The ambush of the 507th Maintenance Company was recreated at the beginning of the 2003 NBC television film Saving Jessica Lynch. The ongoing Battle of Nasiriyah is the backdrop for the rest of the events of the film. Much of playwright and Iraq War veteran Sean, who's played the Sandstorm, draws on his experiences and those of his comrades during and immediately following their unit's second LAR involvement in the Battle of Nasiriyah. The Battle of Nasiriyah was cited as a major factor in a Marine's PTSD in Episode 2 of the 2010 PBS series This Emotional Life. I'm here to provide you with the best information, so let me know what else you'd like to learn about.